Just Saiyan is going to be taking on Monsanto, two players who are also struggling a little bit in Division A. Both players don't have the winning records that they need to put themselves in prime position for playoffs, but that can change with a couple of wins potentially. Saiyan is going to have the Warrior, the Highlander Hunter, and the Quest Warlock. So, when you look at Warrior being let through, you think one thing, and that's a Priest on the other end. Which does happen to be the case here. Yeah. Meanwhile, what did Saiyan ban from Monsanto? I do want to see that Quest Warlock do work, by the way. Looks like he did ban that Warrior, so makes a lot of sense to me there. Warrior still just being one of the leading candidates for strongest class in the game.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of players that have been in similar shoes to Monsanto, banning Quest Warlock instead of Demon Hunter. But Monsanto's running a Demon Hunter-less lineup. And so he doesn't have the best tools to be able to the Demon Hunter seems like it has favorable matchups against all his decks, honestly.
Right.
Maybe Priest is the argument against that, but Quest Warlock just seems so strong that I'm reluctant to leave it up, because players that have been in similar shoes to Monsanto have been banning it. But we will get to see it. Most likely this series, unless Monsanto closes out the series before Saiyan even plays it. And Saiyan going to start out on the Highlander Hunter. Wonder if we'll get a mirror match to start things off. A lot of players with Priest in their lineup open with Priest. But nope, Highlander Hunter mirror. Let's see it.
Do you expect anything else, TJ? Highlander Hunter mirror, very common to see right now on Grandmasters in general, but makes a lot of sense in particular when you start to just evaluate the power of Hunter in general. Just really good at pressuring a bunch of decks that take a little bit of slow setup, like Priest, Mage, even the Quest Warlock. Saw people kind of tweeting that Quest Warlock might be the strongest deck in the game. Maybe this is Monsanto trying to catch the Quest Warlock from its opening. If you anticipate your opponent, because you left up Warrior, your opponent wants to play Warriors, then you can play Priest, but instead of playing the Warrior into the Priest, you can play Hunter or the Quest Warlock. It's a bunch of questions that kind of go back and forth in this conquest, and that's why ultimately you might see players pick safe options like this Highlander Hunter to start things off. Also, it's still just been performing very well. Highlander Hunter's win rate still, despite the fact that a lot of people are anticipating it, is still doing pretty well here. Heading into the weekend, a little bit above 60%.
Yeah, seems quite good. And able to capitalize on a lot of those slower matchups, as you said. A couple of differences in the decks for these players. Saiyan is running a secretless Highlander Hunter, while Monsanto is running the Phase Stalker Freezing Trap Snake Trap version. This opens up some additional tech slots for Saiyan, and he's decided to include Escape Mana Saber, Boom Pistol Bully, and the NA Grand Slam. All the way up there at the top end. Also, another key difference is that Monsanto's running an Acidic Swamp Ooze, where just saying does not. He has an Injured Tolvir in that 2 slot instead. So, bigger differences than we normally see in a Highlander Hunter mirror, and I honestly don't know who to give the advantage to. I just know based off feeling that the secret package seems lackluster, to be honest. Because you run just Phase Stalker and 2 secrets, you're very reliant on drawing the Phase Stalker before the secrets, or they're incredibly lackluster. Scavenger's Ingenuity can help with that, but there are oftentimes situations where you want to use Scavenger's Ingenuity, you're giving up 2 mana and trying to aggressively fight for the board next turn, so you want your rushers like Diving Griffin and Zixor.
Right.
And Phase Stalker can sometimes be even a detriment when you needed to have the ability to fight back on board because you gave up 2 mana to tutor that card. And you don't have that ability because Phase Stalker is the card that you picked up. Saiyan has a similar interaction with his deck because he added the Escape Mana Saber, which also, in situations where you desperately need a rush minion from Scavenger's Ingenuity, can interrupt that chain. But Escape Mana Saber is just kind of a powerful card in itself because it allows you to have a guaranteed attack the following turn and also that inherent ramp. So I'm more willing to accept that than a potentially dead draw of Phase Stalker.
Yeah, you know, I've tested a lot of different Highlander Hunter lists, and you know, without fail, it's always been the ones that were able to hit the mana curve better that would end up performing well, right? Like I tried playing lower curve, I tried playing a little bit more dragon centric, and the ones with Escape Mana Saber did perform very well, just because it helped hit some 7s a little quicker, which seemed to be a really key turning point in several of these matchups. So I personally think it's fine. I don't think it's great because, you know, part of it is that Escape Mana Saber, like you said, does ruin the Scavenger's Ingenuity. But with a start like this, I would say almost exactly starts like this. This is where Escape Mana Saber actually shines because neither player is really jumping out to a fast start, and the Escape Mana Saber can kind of like offset the advantage your opponent has the coin on. So, I think it's all good. Looking good here. And it's up to Monsanto to find an optimal time to use that.
Doesn't seem like it here with a plethora of 3-mana options available to him. Depends how fast he wants to play this.
Right.
Getting the Diving Griffin out of the way now will help potentially smooth out his curve over the next few turns.
Yeah.
But that's also just such a good, cheap removal. Like 6 damage for 3 mana is huge. The other options are basically just giving up initiative back to Saiyan. Like Primordial Explorer dies on board. Desert Spear is just reacting to Saiyan's Desert Spear. Not particularly powerful. You could just set the Stormhammer and make room for the dragons that he has in hand for the following turns, but nothing seems too appealing, and because of that, I think Desert Spear is just to play, just react to what Saiyan does. With Diving Griffin in hand, he's got a little bit of an insurance policy against a powerful player.
Yeah, you know, I think that one thing, funny enough, oh, he's going to ooze? Huh. This play is really powerful. So one thing that's really strong in this matchup is specifically playing double 2s on 4 and destroying their weapon. But usually that's because some of the deck lists I was trying out, there was a natural ooze in the deck. Because they were trying to, you know, like at the time, make sure to answer Demon Hunters or other hunters on ladder. I didn't really use Zephyrus to fish to try and destroy weapons, but this kind of play was very impactful because one thing that's difficult for hunters to do is to deal with wide boards. Cards like Rottennest Drake become way worse. And look at what Monsanto just drew. He just drew that Rottennest Drake. So had Saiyan committed to the Escape Mana Saber, he would have gotten majorly punished. So a really good spot here from Saiyan to win tempo, maintain his momentum, and also just disrupt the plays that Monsanto wants to do. This was very well thought out.
Quickly.
Okay, yeah, I guess I can see that. I think maybe even more so than Rottennest Drake, shutting off the ability for Monsanto to play Faceless Corruptor on curve was also a big one with the help of Desert Spear.
That's true too. So there's 2 reasons now.
Yeah, because if he had just gone with Escape Mana Saber, he could have hit the 1/1 and still like presented a 50-50 for Rottennest Drake, which I don't even know if Monsanto would have taken that.
Well, Monsanto had the weapon, so he would just smack the other 1/1.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. So yeah, it played around both. So.
Yeah, so there's 2 reasons now, and that's almost like overwhelming evidence to indicate that you should be playing this kind of play.
Yeah, and I think Saiyan, because of how his hand is, without much reactive tools, he kind of needs to be the aggressor, and by going wide, he forces Monsanto to be reactive. Now, once again, going wide to try and prevent Rottnest Drake from punishing him, because now again, Monsanto is going to be presented with or not again, but as I mentioned, was a possibility. He's presented with a 50-50 Rottnest Drake, and he would also have to give up his Stormhammer to make that happen, because he'd have to Stormhammer first before he played his dragon. And even more reason to play the Zephyrus is Zephyrus, outside of finding finishing damage, can be hard to fit in to your plays. Because Hunter traditionally has like a play one card a turn kind of play style. Where Zephyrus is mostly just a reactive tool if you're behind. Right. So by getting it out of the way early, you also just free up that mana and make a power play when you're still ahead. And Monsanto had to take a 1 and 3 because he realized that he needs this Stormhammer to keep going. Oh, and a Rottnest Drake picked up on the other side.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yikes. Not good. Oh, that's such a dramatic swing. And he gets to play the injured Tolvir.
Yep.
Ooh, boy. Rottnest Drake momentum swings are so huge that, like, a lot of times, Entertainment Brand doesn't even have the impact that you would expect it to, because it just has so much raw power coming in before it.
Oh.
What do you even do here?
He can Primordial Explorer, Stormhammer the Tolvir, and then Diving Griffin down the Rottnest Drake.
Okay.
You're still leaving up the Escape Mana Saber. I
wonder.
There's not really a great Zephyrus target here.
Yeah. I don't even think you get to really choose what to do here. I think that's pretty much your only play.
I mean, at this point, I'm not even sure if it's worth holding on to the Stormhammer charge because you can't even take more damage.
Right.
But maybe he's just hoping that Saiyan has a couple of dead turns. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, that's about as good as you can ask for, though, to be honest.
Yeah. Alright. Saiyan has access to 8 mana here. Diving Griffin, Scale Rider, and a Hero Power.
Woo!
Or that. Attack Faces Corruptor.
Right. Looks very good. It's just
I mean, it's all
good.
Everything is good.
He could also, instead of doing that, he could play Big Ol' Whelp, save the weapon swing for a Faceless Corruptor instead. But this is just 8 stats on the board, or 8/8 stats.
Yeah. Um, 5 mana, so Monsanto can Brawl. He can Chaos Nova.
I wonder.
Jeez.
That's about it.
Yep. I think he has to clear this board now, but there doesn't seem to be a particularly good way to do that without taking damage here, unless I'm mistaken.
Might have to be a Desperation Brawl. Hope Zephyrus lives.
Just feels so bad.
Unleash Zephyrus. 2 mana? What?
Yeah, I
Soul
mean,
Cleave?
that could work.
Betrayal. Okay, betrayal's way better.
Yeah. Betrayal does work.
Wait.
Right.
Okay, this is the only thing that gives him a board at the end of it. He has to take the damage though. Is that better than taking a 1 and 4 with Brawl? Probably.
Yeah, I think it's fun.
I wonder.
Yeah, this looks fine to me. Overall, it's not great because you still are within threat of lethal range. Wow, Corrosive Breath picked up too. So, I mean, Saiyan has 2 turn lethal set up. He has Corrosive Breath, Scale Rider, and Hero Power next turn. And that should do it. Is there any way to stop this? Doesn't look like it to me.
Nope.
I wonder.
I mean, Monsanto could go ahead and do the math of what can end up being the best possible play, but from this perspective, it looks pretty doomed.
I don't even know how you have to set up a 3-turn lethal because you're on a 3-turn clock. So you have to put enough power to kill Saiyan in 3 turns. Unless he wants to play ultra defensive and then hope that he can get bailed out from the top of his deck like Dragon Queen Alexstrasza into Nazari. But those things are last-ditch effort, and I don't think like there's any indication of last-ditch effort yet. So first priority is to set up 3-turn lethal in any way possible.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's it then. Like saying, just gonna destroy his way through game number 1 after a very decisive tempo swing. I just gotta say that the setup from Saiyan just very cleanly played around Monsanto's ability to get ahead, and those kinds of decisions, while in hindsight seem fairly obvious, 1, are easy to overlook, and 2, have profound impact on how the rest of the game pans out. Hunter vs. Hunter is a extremely punishing matchup. If you make a small error, it might seem innocuous, and all of a sudden you just get blown out. I personally believe that there's almost no room for error at all in this matchup. Otherwise, you will get destroyed, and it's not going to be pretty. But yeah, good job by Saiyan. And that's just game number 1 of this best of 5. And that leads us to our next intermission. We're pretty much in the thick of things, so we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to have more Hearthstone action here for the Americas region. So stay tuned. We'll be back soon.
Hearthstone Grandmasters is brought to you by T-Mobile. Rank up with America's largest 5G network. Switch to T-Mobile today.
Meet Clark Cluckerberg. 998. 999. 1,000. Why did she leave me? We were so good together. I don't think that translates well in Mandarin. I want to be a real chicken. Why does everyone get to be a real chicken but me? No, you. Tell me the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Why so aggressive?
Okay, you guys are pretty good. I guess we can just turn this into a regular interview since everyone clearly here is not going to laugh. So I had this idea for a deck. In week 1 of Grandmasters, welcome back, everyone, to Hearthstone Grandmasters for the America. Saiyan just took the first win versus Monsanto in that Hunter mirror, and now we head into game number 2, which is potentially going to be this Warrior or this Warlock from Sam. 5 unique classes remaining out of these 6 possible matchups that we could have head-to-head, or rather the 9 possible matchups. But in this case, Saiyan's going to turn to his Quest Warlock. And Quest Warlock has been getting a lot of hype. I saw Orange tweeting earlier today that he thinks it's the best deck in the game, or potentially one of it. We've seen some people get some good wins off of it. It has a great win rate in Grandmasters when brought. So, TJ, I want to ask you, do you believe in the hype?
I do. The deck seems very difficult to beat. It seems like it always has options to bail it out of any situation. And then it always has options to win the game. Against slower decks, its ability to win the game is quite consistent because it has the ability to draw cards very aggressively in the early game and complete the quest with plot twist. And then it can start drawing 0 mana Big Dragons, 0 mana Burn Spells, and 0 mana Alexstrasza's. And it does that surprisingly consistently. It also has Dragon Queen, Alexstrasza, and Zephrys because it draws cards so quickly and because it actually does pack a lot of 1-ofs in the list because a lot of them are legendaries. Those are active very consistently, especially once quest is complete. So you got to kind of kill it early. You got to force out all of its win conditions early on in the game, or defensively, or hope that it has a bunch of dead draws. One of the benefits of playing against a quest deck is that they have 1 less card in the mulligan. So maybe you can hope to capitalize on that. Wishful thinking. Highlander Hunter, I feel like one of the decks that can do well against it because it puts on consistent damage and can end the game itself with Dire Tamer Brand with Zephrys. It also has powerful mid-range threats. But in practice, this seemed like a Dark Skies completely ruined Highlander Hunter's momentum. Just that one card completely ruined the Hunter's ability to get on the board and makes them start from scratch. Because a lot of times they're not building up huge life totals on the board very early on in the game. And because of that, Dark Skies coming down on curve or even, on turns 4 or 5 will clear the board from Hunter and force them to start over.
Right. And so the Hunter, when they start over, they do have ways to kind of push that damage and still build up that board, but hopefully by then Warlock has all things kind of set into motion for them. And, when you look at how things have been kind of shaping up here, for the most part, everyone's kind of expecting the Quest Warlock to have a bajillion healing options in their hand, where they can just kind of clear the board and bounce back up. But it does kind of require Saiyan to have a certain pan out, like a certain series of draws in his hand, or a series of cards in his hand. And I've seen it actually not work out a decent amount of times. I was actually playing some Quest Warlock yesterday during my while I was just kind of cleaning up the house and multitasking. Great idea, right, to climb ladder and multitask. But I just did kind of struggle if I didn't have any source of card healing whatsoever. It felt like I actually died very quickly. It's something that you do have to weigh a lot when you're playing against Hunter.
Fine balance.
Well, from here, Monsanto has the ability to go for Diving Griffin just to keep the momentum. That 5 damage going to face, pretty painful for Saiyan, so, why not just capitalize on that opportunity here?
It's funny, Saiyan went face with a 2-1 instead of picking up a trade to reduce the likelihood that he took 5 damage to face. But he took it anyway, and now it takes 2 more because Monsanto sticks 2 more damage because he didn't trade.
Right.
Huh. So one thing I've learned from playing this matchup is that I don't like to trade with the Warlock. Because the removal spells, most of them also damage their minions. So like in the case of Dark Skies, Saiyan would have to make those trades anyway to take enough health on board to Dark Skies. Now we have the advantage, obviously, of being able to see that Dark Skies is in hand. But Monsanto essentially just missed 4 extra damage there because Saiyan's options for removal would have been to trade minions down. I don't think he was vulnerable. Yeah, maybe he thought that if he didn't trade, he was vulnerable to Moarg Artificer plus Rain of Fire. That would have been a bigger punish. But that's a 2-card combination as opposed to a 1-card combination that is almost always kept in the mulligan.
Right.
So that 4 damage is a pretty big deal. If Saiyan would have made those trades himself.
I mean, it is a big deal in general. A lot of these moves, they have... Like, if the Warlock doesn't have enough health to, like, feel confident enough to do things like draw cards, then they just are stuck with the limited options that are in their hand. And, I'm just trying to think about every possible way to maximize pressure here.
Yeah.
That's all my mind.
Yeah. The other punish would have been coin Crazed Netherwing. Because if Crazed Netherwing was in the hand, then he at least would be able to stick a 5/4.
Okay.
But I don't know. I still want to stick damage.
Yeah, I do too.
All right, taking a look at this turn from Saiyan. He's got both Moarg Artificers in hand, which means Sense Demons will draw both Aranasi Broodmothers.
Right. He's also drawn Keladon the Breaker this turn, so he has the opportunity just to clear it. It does require him to use the coin, which can be a very useful and important card, but for the most part, I think it's okay.
Yeah. Maybe his plan is to follow up with a Missile Summoner next turn.
Right. That's also a possibility.
I wonder.
Oh. Only Snake Trap left in the deck as a pull from Face Stalker. Is the option to take a value, like play Faceless Corruptor?
Yeah, that doesn't feel good either. So, wow, I'm actually kind of at loss of words. Like, what is the best play here? Faceless Corruptor looks so bad. Face Stalker doesn't really accomplish much because you don't want to kill Keladin, or you don't want to bounce it. Yeah, this is very weak. This is the turn that Saiyan was looking for as an opportunity potentially to stabilize. I guess in his mind he is wondering, like, what is the possibility of, like, Tamer Brand coming out here, but this should block it. Siamat, though, exactly what the doctor ordered in this spot.
Winds of the south, come to my aid.
Okay, so now trading, again, a decision for Monsanto to trade or go face. Trading plays around Nether Breath, so you stick more damage with Siamat on the board. It also plays around... That's pretty much it, honestly.
Yeah.
It plays around Mortal Coil, being able to draw a card. It doesn't affect Crazed Netherwing, because you still wouldn't be able to kill it. Plays around Crazed Netherwing Mortal Coil. Nether Breath is the big one, but going face, if he Nether Breaths and trades, you get for this turn and likely for the next turn. Oh no!
Wow.
Uh,
Yikes.
Three demons in hand.
Yeah. Now what do you do? Sense Demons is completely useless? Not completely, but very useless.
Do you tap, take the risk of drawing the second Broodmother, but try and draw a plot twist?
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Not really much else to do here.
He's gonna get a worthless hit.
No.
And this also gives Monsanto the information that all three demons are in hand. This is kind of brutal, honestly.
Almost out of time.
He did have both of the Questing Explorers, but no plot twists. Oh, there we go!
Okay. I mean, that helps, right?
Yeah, so I don't know if you plot twist this turn. The play probably has to be hold, and then Moarg Artificer plot twist next turn. You're very likely, or not very likely, but you have a good chance of hitting Dragon plus Nether Breath to clear up the board. Like, because he's behind, I think he wants to be able to stick a Moarg Artificer on board and then plot twist, so his removal options are plentiful.
I wonder.
Okay. And so if he takes this 6, he's still okay then, right?
Yes. Yeah, in his mind. I mean, if Zixor comes down here, it's a snap twisting Nether.
Right.
And
Almost.
then,
But if 2 other minions get developed, it also might warrant that as well.
yeah, if Monsanto has any significant development this turn. If he doesn't have significant development this turn, I think the Moarg plot twist needs to happen.
Sure.
But then he gives up the possibility of having Twisting Nether in case something big comes out.
Quickly.
Oh. Just re-up with Primordial Export. There we go. Get another one. Yeah, Monsanto wants to get the Snake Trap out of his deck before he draws it.
Yeah, I mean, there is merit to like trying to improve the quality of your draw significantly by removing it. Thinning the deck, if you will.
Yeah.
All right. So, if we Twisting Nether, and your opponent plays Dire Tamer Brand, Is that just it?
Well, you still have like the more plot twist into Nether Breath the following turn if your opponent plays Dino Tamer Brand, because that answers the King Crush.
Okay.
But looks like Saiyan's gonna go for I don't know, that's a tough call.
Really looking for that Nether Breath.
Yep.
He also has a tap for it as well. Oh my gosh, Worthless Imp.
He's getting
its name.
The same cards.
Okay, he heals at least.
He just got back all the same cards.
You can tap and then tap again.
He only got 2 new cards. All right, fine. 3 new cards.
Soulfire. Just can't afford to take that 6.
What's the discard?
Okay, Brood Mother. I think the function of that card was pretty much just to get the healing anyways.
Yeah, it did its job. Quest complete, so the sky's the limit for Saiyan now. His Albatross is in hand, but he still has Dragon Queen and Malagos in the deck, which means those are 0-cost options. His 2 ofs that he has left in his deck is just Nether Breath, Rain of Fire.
I wonder.
All right.
So he's happy to pick those up regardless. Maybe not the Rain of Fire.
Right.
But when he does pick those up, that will let Zephyrus and Dragon Queen be active.
It's so annoying that he can't tap while playing this Nether. Oh, okay. I guess he could Twisting Nether and then tempo out the Worthless Imp, TJ.
Oh, yeah. Tempo. I mean, if it gets a freezing trap, that's ideal.
Right.
You could also take a risk.
Okay, what kind? I'm listening.
No, I don't know.
I'm listening, TJ.
Like tap for Rain of Fire. It's a 1 in 6.
Okay.
And then you can craze Netherwing Rain of Fire or other way around. Nah, you twisting.
Yeah, I think the twisting is just deal with the threat immediately.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest board you're gonna have for it.
Right, because they're just gonna play. It's like 2 to 3 minions is usually how far they go.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any relevance to picking Malagos? You have Kill Command and Corrosive Breath and a few other things, but can you reliably stick it? I guess the answer in Monsanto's mind was no. I do want to think about that a little bit more.
We are friends now. Hello, friend.
Is Relic Player Souls good?
I don't know. Probably.
Better than nothing, right?
Saiyan can't kill it outside of Dark Skies.
Okay, true.
Like everything else is targeted. Speaking of Dark Skies, this Dark Skies is an 8 damage Dark Skies.
Snake Trap does complicate it a little bit, but
Yep. Crazy Netherwing.
yeah, Netherwing. And then the Abyssal Summoner is also good here.
Yeah, he can even coil at the end.
Coil first.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Don't think it changes his play. Alright, there's Zephyrus. Not active. Still Nether Breath and Rain of Fire in the deck.
Yep.
Still a couple of 2-ofs to be able to have to get through.
Dragon Queen Alexstrasza comes in hand for Monsanto, though, and this could have that impactful board swinging moment. Ooh,
Whoa.
a Varanus!
Whoa.
That's huge.
Chrono Breaker's pretty sick, too.
Yeah, Chrono Breaker is big because he has the Evasive Bellwing in hand, so Death Rattle will go off. Chrono Breaker deals damage to all enemy minions if you're holding a dragon.
Also helps the player on Dark Skies.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe not more Dark Skies, but with the second Morg being used, I think you're pretty happy there's no Nether Breaths were used alongside of them. All of his expensive dragons picked up.
But he still has a plot twist in a deck, right?
Still has one plot twist, yep.
Yeah, the problem is when you have plot twist and you have more cards in your hand than cards in your deck. It's around that breakpoint. Tap into a Nether Breath. Is that enough to clear everything off? Dark Skies does 8 damage, and Nether Breath does 4.
Dark Skies can be bumped up to, if you play it with Morg Artificer, then it deals 14 damage, but you're adding 4 more health to the board.
You also do get the benefit of better breakpoints, though. You could like Nether Breath first before the Morg Artificer plays the Dark Skies. Then you lose a little bit of damage, but you get more consistency of killing stuff. Either way. Oh, we also can't forget about the possibility of the Chrono Breaker activating. Always humorous.
All right. Well, found a way. And Monsanto's kind of out of stuff. Out of meaningful stuff,
that was a
anyway.
really important clear. And now he's, like you said, he's not actually developing anything. So...
Actually can't kill the Morg. He can't even kill the Aranasi Broodmother, actually. He can't kill anything. So, Saiyan needs plot twists like right now.
Yeah, because otherwise he's going to draw these again. Otherwise, I mean, he doesn't really need it. Need is such a strong word, TJ. I would say he would like a plot twist. If not, if he draws the last card remaining, the last duplicate in his deck, he can just play Dragon Queen Alexstrasza.
Yeah, that's true. It is not likely that he draws it, but with 2 draws, actually it is. Because he has 2 of them left in his deck, he would draw 2 cards. But if he has to tap, then Dragon Queen Alexstrasza gets shut off. But at this point, Monsanto's completely out of stuff. I'd take Zephyrus also. The Rain of Fire also would be a great draw off the top. There it is.
Boom. Oh, wow. So Rain of Fire into trades into the Dragon Queen Alexstrasza.
Oh, yeah.
Moarg is still on the board.
Yeah. He knows this is freezing.
I wonder.
In that case, what do you want to freeze?
Morg Artificer.
Okay.
I was... Yeah. Interesting.
I was expecting Rain of Fire first.
Yeah, and I think he was anticipating a different secret.
Oh, okay. Well, this is a board clear. This works too.
Oh yeah, that works as well. Well, he does also lose... Oh, no, because the Malygos also damages his own friendly minions. Okay, yeah, everything worked out great.
He would also die to Dino Tamer Brand Kill Command, though.
Right.
If those were exactly the 2 cards. Wait, nope, he wouldn't, because Monsanto does not play Kill Command.
Right.
He accounted for everything. Wait, nope, not Dino Tamer Brand Zephyr Soulfire. He would die to that.
Yeah, not everything, but a lot of things.
And pretty sure Monsanto would have played either of those with this far left guard, which is a Fairy Dragon, which has been there for a while.
That's a good point. Monsanto's had a lot of opportunities to develop after that giant proactive turn from Siamat plus the follow-up, and now Monsanto's just kind of shown weakness.
Yeah.
All in, baby. And now...
Zephyrus
lethal,
recognizes
right?
spell damage, right?
Pretty sure.
Because fireballs, a lot of things are lethal.
I keep hearing that he can't read text.
He can't
but
read text, but spell damage is like an aura.
Damage.
It's not text; it's like an aura. Like he doesn't read Moarg, right?
Right.
Because Moarg actually doesn't change the text of cards. Like if you have a Moarg on board and you look at Nether Breath, it still says deal 2 damage, deal 4 with lifesteal instead if you're holding a dragon. It doesn't actually change. Whereas spell damage does. It's like Fireball Red, deal 11 damage. And that makes the play even smarter from saying the previous turn because he knew that he had a guaranteed lethal setup outside of Monsanto killing his Malagos, which actually kind of difficult with what he had left.
Right.
Or healing, which also difficult. Like both of those things involve pretty much Zephyrus or something crazy like Dragon Bane or Dino Tamer brand. So nicely set up there at the end for Saiyan.
Yeah, really well done. Saiyan's in a very good spot, up 2-0 over Monsanto, whose struggles continue right now in this season of GM, and I'm starting to really worry for Monsanto.
Yeah,
if he loses, he also in that bottom 2 spot, I believe Saiyan will move because these two players are tied in record at the moment. Monsanto would be in 7th and 8th decisively alongside Nagidan.
All right. Well, last deck for Saiyan is Warrior, which is still floating just below an 80, well, below like a 75% win right now. After some of the matches that have taken place over the course of the weekend. So it's been bumped down a peg, but a competitive deck with a very significant sample size, holding steady at a 75% win rate.
Bananas.
It's bananas.
Bananas.
And Saiyan has 3 chances to win with it. Monsanto is staring at the realistic possibility that he is gonna be 1-4.
Yeah, right now Saiyan's 1-3, tied with Monsanto, both 1-3. Nagidan is 0-5. These two are the gap between Empanizado and the rest. Empanizado, as you know, improved to a 3-3 record, and then everyone else has a winning record in the division. So Saiyan could command 6th place very decisively just with this win.
Right where he wanted to be all along.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the difference between 6th and 1st in Division A is that actually not that huge. You get seeded against arguably better players. But at the end of the day, a lot of Hearthstone players don't really, consider the difference when you're talking about a high enough level of seeds that crucial. So
true. So I think that when you look at like how all the stuff has lined up for this point here, Monsanto, if he loses this, does it feel like his season already has kind of gone to the relegation bracket? Kind of. Nothing's obviously set in stone, but it's just you can't help but feel that way.
Still got 2 matches left.
Yeah.
So it ain't over yet.
I like your option.
And let me look real quick at
Quickly.
and Monsanto is playing against players that are roughly where he is in the standings in the last couple weeks.
Yeah.
He's playing against Eddie and Empanizato.
Next week?
Yes.
Yes, May 30th and May 31st.
So,
which means that he could make some distance on Empanizato. And if he wins there, Empanizato would all, and Empanizato loses, there's a possibility. So
and right now he's lost to Bloody Face, Language Hacker, and Gallon. So those are the players at the top of the standings.
Right. Everyone's been losing to them.
So everyone's been losing to them. So his tiebreakers, if he wins out, would be good enough to put him in playoffs. Because he's also beaten Nalganon. Though, and no shade to Nalganon here, everybody has. Because he's 0-5. But like if Nalganon wins out and Monsanto has tiebreaker for him, that's also a good thing. So, I mean, he has opportunities even if he loses the series. But it's not over yet.
Oh, the Zephyrus knocking down the anchor. Nasty. I mean, that is really annoying to deal with here.
Yeah. Coin Faces Corruptor. About as good a value as you can hope to get with this card.
I suppose so, yeah.
Zane has a response, though, with Blood Boil Brute. And then an attack. Actually, no, there's a Freezing Trap up. Still has a response with Sousy Deckhand, Let It Get Frozen, Sousy Deckhand.
What now?
Yeah, first has to kind of figure out how best to defuse the secret. Let's see the Freezing Trap finally. Could do it again, and then just take it a little bit slower. Let his opponent develop again. But the problem is that if the hunter starts getting 1 minion ahead, that's when things get dicey. So once more, kind of in that spot where I do wonder if it's, in the end, good.
I wonder. I must choose.
Honestly, it's kind of a tough spot. Oh my goodness! Finds the +1 attack on the Goblin Lackey. Easy. Calculated, TJ.
Yeah, well, he already had one in hand, so... Did he play the one off the top? Because that would have been
Oh.
a tilter.
Oh, okay. No, you're right. For some reason, I thought the Observer bug need that it was desynced. But you're right, he did have that. Okay. Well. Either way.
He was thinking maybe whatever lock he got might have changed his play, but he had the rush anyway without the weapon because of the Goblin Lackey just by itself. Now Monsanto just saying, all right, time to load up a board. We don't know what he tracked over. Kind of annoying, but something we must live with. He picked up Phase Stalker, so his options must have not been that great.
Right.
If Phase Stalker was the choice, especially since he already had an early curve.
Right. I'm sure that it wasn't anything impactful like a Dino Tamer. Because he most likely would have picked it. Hard to say, though. I mean, there's these kinds of situations. The game with Warrior constantly changes based on how aggressive they are extending onto the board. In this case, for Saiyan, he could play this Warmaul Challenger. Even go so far as to copy it. And the other one to play besides that, I think, is the Blood Boil Brute, so one or the other.
Yeah, the Blood Boil Brute has a very high upside.
Staying on the board?
Yeah, if it stays on board, you can like rampage Bloodsworn Mercenary, and then maybe even get like the other one down. But Monsanto has a great response to it here. Diving Griffin gets
Very
Misha. And trading the Zixor first means that he's guaranteed to get the Prime from the Diving Griffin since he's already drawn the Faces Corruptor. Just mwah.
Yeah, it looks good.
I wonder.
Yikes.
No lackey to impact it. Does he have to inner rage this now?
Or accept the damage. He could Titanic Lackey, Goblin Lackey. At least that sticks a minion on board.
I must choose.
Titanic Lackey, though, does have some cool uses in Warrior, where you can extend the effect of a Risky Skipper by giving it more life, or make a Bomb Wrangler have better trades onto a board.
This feels so bad, especially if your opponent plays any kind of meaningful development on 7.
Yeah, like Siamat with Divine Shield and Wind Fury. I'm Monsanto.
Right.
I'm going in for the kill.
Oh yeah. This is an opportunity the Warrior has given to you, served on a silver platter.
They need Risky Skipper and Battle Rage. He needs to draw 2 cards on his turn. All right, that's dead card.
Yep. Not really useful there. Can't even like damage the Siamat to make things cheaper for the Blood Boy Brood. This is truly an unfortunate situation.
So he can Warmaw Challenger. No.
What now?
If he had 1 more mana, he could Warmaw Challenger, Inner Rage, Rampage, Titanic Lackey, Bloodsworn Mercenary.
Okay.
But doesn't really work. He would need 9 mana. That would present a 6/8 with Taunt, which would be very 2 6/8s with Taunt.
Yeah. You know wow, no, the nerf to the Blood Boy Brood being kind of relevant here. Requiring him to play a little bit extra onto the board in order to have it. Blood Boy Brood went from 6 to 5 attack. And so now if you're Monsanto, you saw how difficult it was to deal with Siamat. How is your opponent going to deal with 3 4/4s, because one of them will trade in. The Highlander Hunter just looks like it is going to just completely overwhelm this Warrior unless Saiyan draws 1 card and 1 card only.
And it's not that one.
It's not that.
All right. Attack. Warmaw Challenger. Rampage. Titanic Lackey. Bloodsworn.
All right.
So, yeah, he would have 2 4/8s.
Right.
Wait, no, 4 9s. With Taunt.
That looks good to me. Honestly, that's a really sick turn. And gets to use a lot of these small and cheap cards that are normally difficult to do.
Yeah.
Only had 1 more mana and you can give it Rush too. Whoa. Wow.
Oh man.
I mean, he's just got lethal. Let's just call it what it is. Dragonbane for the win. But all jokes aside, I mean, this could be a tense situation where, depending on how things go, could end up just being a turning point for Saiyan.
I mean, he could go Scale Rider, Dragonbane, to bring it to a 1 and 4. And he kind of goes wide on board to make Dino Tamer Brand be more likely to have a decent trade over these minions. But I think just killing off one of these War Maul challengers guaranteed is probably better.
Saiyan taking a deep breath.
He really needs Risky Skipper.
Yeah. But I mean, he's still okay. Oh, okay.
Grom?
Grom?
What if Grom sticks?
Right. So you trade Grom into a Zixor Prime copy, and then you trade into the King Crush, and Grom can't get answered easily. There's that possibility.
I might want to keep the health high on my taunt more than my Grom.
Okay. I don't hate it. We're just talking about possibilities here, TJ. We're just brainstorming here.
Alexstrasza.
Goodness. Alexstrasza sets up a potential lethal opportunity?
I'm looking at more of it as a potential I need to heal myself for 10 opportunity.
Okay.
I must choose.
Is it better to Armor Smith? And then Alexstrasza Goblin Lack the next turn? Oh, Saiyans just gonna go ahead and clear now. Does not want to have to deal with this. This makes sense.
Okay.
I like it. Yeah, this is the halfway point. He's being defensive, but he can still use Alexstrasza offensively. That Scavenger's Ingenuity cannot hit the Zixer anymore. Zixer Prime's already been exhausted.
Can't hit anything.
Yeah, and this also sets up the best possible like anti-Dragonbane board. And I'm pretty sure Saiyan is thinking about that, but you know that's just yet another reason to consider doing that kind of play.
Yeah, there are a big fat 0 beasts left.
Right, just like there's no more weapons.
All right.
Neither player able to get their tutor cards.
What is it gonna be? 1-1.
Yeah.
Rip.
There was 3 good outcomes there for Monsanto. Well, 2 good outcomes, 1 medium outcome, and 2 bad ones. So Monsanto kind of landing on the lower end of the spectrum there.
Oh man, and yeah, you're right about the Alexstrasza lethal setup because Saiyan can just play Grom next turn, take some good trades, which also gains armor, and then Alexstrasza with 15 damage on board.
Yeah.
Well, the Dragon Rider over the Imprisoned Fellmaw actually changes that. You won't have 15 damage on board, I don't think. Because Monsanto could make trades. So War Maul Challenger goes over the Dino Tamer Brand, and then Grom goes into
What now?
the Dragonbane with the Armor Smith. And then you're probably rampaging something?
Maybe the... Well, okay, so what do you have to worry about removal-wise? Rottenness Drake doesn't target anything with health matters, so yeah, just make the taunt as hard to deal with as possible.
So he needs...
Oh, wow.
Zephyrus?
Zephyrus?
Grosser Bread doesn't do it. Holy moly.
And that rampage on the taunt actually does matter here.
Saiyan did it.
What a turnaround. Warrior's just so good. It's just so good. How could you not think it's good?
I wonder.
I mean, people know it's good. Let's not get ourselves.
Monsanto should have taken the 1 and 4 while he had the chance.
Yes.
That's me being
strict
facetious.
misplay.
Shane got it.
Misplay.
3-0.
He's got it. Well done. GG's. This was a really well fought game and honestly just a good series played.
Yeah.
By Saiyan.
Very well done. That was impressive, honestly. A lot of very small, creative plays spotted that ended up being the difference maker in the matchups. So definitely like what he did there in that series. Quest Warlock game had a nice play with the Malagos. That game had the nice play with the lethal setup and taking the halfway point with the Armor Smith. The Hunter game had the Zephyrs into Ooze on 4 to gain back tempo, play around the possibility of Rotnest Drake and Faceless Corruptor. Just solid. It's good play.
Yep. Overall, really well done. And that is a really important victory, especially if these two players end up going to tiebreakers. Every single opportunity you can get as an advantage for head-to-head is a big deal. So with that, our second match is done. We have 3 more for today. Muzzy versus Purple, Frozen versus Papa Jason, ETC versus PNC. These are all Division B matches. These all have pretty significant playoff implications as well. So pay attention, pay close attention to how the rest of these games end up shaking out today. Because you could be looking once more as we take a look at the standings. We could be looking at the final impactful games of the season in terms of who ends up being able to advance to the playoffs and who will end up being watching from home. But even more than that, it's also just like, who will be the ones who ultimately are able to stay in Grandmasters, TJ? We're not even necessarily asking like some of the other questions of like, what does it look? What does it feel like to just be in this position where you can't even necessarily contend for the top, but you also can't even stay in the league? And a lot of these players, they've been fighting so hard throughout the season that it really stinks to come up to tiebreakers, TJ, and then just kind of watch your fate be decided based off that.
Yeah, I mean the tiebreakers are slightly simpler this time around than they were in the past couple seasons. Since it's a single round robin, if it's a 2-way tie, it's just the head-to-head, the one match that you played against the other person, which makes sense and is simpler. But once you get to tiebreaker 2 and you start factoring in the opponent, the average, your strength of wins, that's when it kind of gets convoluted. There was a lot of drama in Europe